The presentation today is going to be about how we are doing in the European Commission to support startups, tech startups in particular, so startups who are using web and mobile technologies. So we are very narrowly focused on purpose. We had as a kind of guidance for what we are doing in the Commission, something that was prepared by successful entrepreneurs, the people that you see there, the founders of Skype, the founders of Spotify, Robio, and many others, 20, etc. You have there all the names, Masohomi from Sikkan as well, Lars Hinrich. So we have all those people there who prepare a series of recommendations for the commissions to be executed, and we are executing them. We have translated those recommendations into this series of actions. You have here a kind of metro map with all the actions that we are doing. We will go one by one very quickly, and we will focus on the action of today, that is the Web Investors Forum. This is what we are aiming at. We are aiming not to have a few new big internet-based companies, but to have a wave, a tsunami of web big unicorns in Europe. We already have in Europe quite good successes. I think we are not so bad as many people say. We are in good shape, I would say. Actually, the European app economy is flourishing. We all know that we all knew that it was big in terms of job creation and growth, but the results of the study that we published a few months ago are impressive. Currently, 1.8 million people are working in the app economy, as part of the workforce, and this figure is going to rise to 4.8 million in 5 years. So it's an impressive figure. Like no other sector in the economy has this potential for job creation, and the same in terms of revenues, going from 17.5 to 63 billion euros. We are doing a dynamic visual mapping of the ecosystems in Europe. We are going to map where physically are located the startups, the investors, co-working spaces, accelerators, etc., but also, and most importantly, to get through different official statistics the figures in terms of job creations and growth, and also through LinkedIn and Crunchbase and other sources of information to know the relationships between the board members of the different startups and investors. This work is starting, and the first visual results will be in the first quarter of 2015. We have also launched two initiatives recently. Here is the photo where you can see some faces from this afternoon as well. Alberto Onetti was here seated a few minutes ago, and it's also in the photo with President Barroso, with Vice President Nelly Cruz. And these two flagships are, on the one hand is the Startup Partnership, with the idea of bringing together corporates, universities, and startups. We believe that these three different players should work together. And the European Digital Forum, with the idea of giving a voice to the entrepreneurs in the policy making in Europe. We had also launched the Accelerators Assembly. The Accelerators Assembly is a network, informal network of accelerators across Europe. There are 26 accelerators and 34 startup facilitators who are part of this assembly. And well, you know that for the first time, the European Investment Fund is investing in one of these structural accelerators as a result of this network. We had also launched a crowdfunding assembly, and here you have some figures about the number of crowdfunding platforms identified in Europe, 230 of them. You have here these figures in this small sheet of paper. And also the average funding raised through crowdfunding by web entrepreneurs is, in the equity side, 113,000 euros. So we have been talking here a lot about VCs and business angels, but there is life beyond that as well. Corporates has also been mentioned here, but also equity crowdfunding and rewards in the order of 12.5K. We have also launched a network of universities who are delivering massive open online courses to developers or to unemployed youngsters, so that they have the opportunity to learn the coding and other skills needed to be hired or to set up your own startup. We are focusing a lot in the app developing, in the coding part at this moment. And we have two other actions that are going to be presented by Katalin Ticherud, one of the members of the team.
Yeah, under the Startup Europe initiative, we like to celebrate and to recognize the merits of the European web startups, and this is why we have designed two competitions for early stage and mature startups throughout Europe. One of them is called the Tech All Stars competition. Now the third edition is already developing in London, and we have already selected three new startups that which are going tomorrow to the Founders Forum to pitch their ideas in front of interesting and very important venture capitalists and founders. And the other competition is called the Europe Pioneers, the European Pioneers Awards, through which we want to actually we featured 4 awards through this competition: the European Tech Entrepreneur of the Year, the Young Web Entrepreneur of the Year, the Female Web Entrepreneur of the Year, and the Gazelle one. Actually, this is how we like to call the High Growth Company of Web Company of the Year. So, and for this competition, the nominations are open until the 13th of June, so don't hesitate to nominate any future unicorn from Europe.
So yeah, we have, as you can see here, there is around 850 million euros available in Europe for SMEs and startups, and you can go to this link there to see the details. We are currently in the evaluation of a call that we closed recently for 10 million euros that is not directly for startups, it's for ecosystem builders. So it's for organizations like France Digitale, for example, who are developing the ecosystems in the local areas. We are trying to help them because we know that there are many emerging ones, but they are financially fragile, let's say, so they need this kind of support, and we are giving, and we believe that this 10 million euros could have a huge multiplying effort, impact, maybe more than the, I would not say more than the 850 million, but certainly we give a lot of importance to this small amount of 10 million euros for that. And as I said, the evaluation is now done. I know many organizations across Europe have submitted offers. I don't know if France Digitale has submitted an offer or not, but this is we are now in the process of the evaluation, and the results will be known after summer. And now we are going to speak about the details of the Web Investors Forum, and the person in charge within the Startup Europe team who has been following the forum has been Bogdan, who he knows better than me all the work that has been done and the main conclusions.
Yes, thanks, Isidro. So we started the Web Investors Forum with following the mission and the vision that we have to grow more digital champions in Europe. And we identified that venture capital is concentrated in proportion of 70% in 4 member states: UK, France, Germany, and Sweden. And we launched a procuring process, and then it started a full analysis on what it's the European ecosystem doing and how can we improve it, and how to say it. It was quite an interesting process, and how to say, many interviews, many research, many let's say phone calls, and a lot of energy spent on trying to see what are the problems, what are the opportunities, how can we make investors more interested about the internet sector, and how can we bring more money, because we saw that in United States there are something like 5.1 billion, while in Europe it's 1.1 billion invested in internet consumer sector, and how can we increase these numbers. And already the colleagues Taro, Emmanuel, and Delphine has able to provide us some initial conclusions. They of course have been slightly presented this morning by Delphine, but how to say, all this session today was mainly about discussing them, and you have heard them repeating again and again and again. It's mainly about the exit opportunities, the young, promising champions of tomorrow have to be acquired, and more liquidity has to be available in the market. Then the financing value chain, it's unbalanced from a local and a pan-European perspective. As I said, the focus on the 4 member states. There is not a sufficient cross-fertilization between the European tech hubs. So, for example, in the first sessions, we saw some tricky questions. It's more difficult to invest in the United States or in Germany as a French investor, and we want to know why this is happening and how can we, let's say, try to harmonize, have better regulations and policies around Europe. And I'm very sure that also people from EIF will be happy to hear that it's easier, or it's wider available to do the same kind of policies that are in UK, but also in other places. Things like the CEES scheme, or the one presented in France here. I would like to be short on this and go to the recommendation. There are 4. Of course, they will be published on the webinvestorsforum.eu. Boosting the European exit market, reduce equity shortage, strengthen the integration of cross-fertilization about European hubs, and develop a European corporate involvement. And of course, in order to do this, there will be new initiatives, there will be more policies, there will be consultations with venture capitalists like you, and of course, we want to continue this journey together with you, to get more feedback, to get more inputs, to see how we can help you make more deals with more European tech startups, and help the existing ones grow faster and raise more capital and go to more diversified geographies. And yeah, don't hesitate to drop us a line, your potential suggestions. But I would like to give to Isidro the mic to finalize this, because the future it's starting now, and I'm very sure that together we can make things work better in the future.
Yeah, actually, we were thinking how to address this presentation today, and we thought that the most important part was this, to talk about the future, to present briefly what we have been doing in the Commission for the last 2 years on helping startups, to represent the conclusions of the Web Investors Forum that France Digitale so successfully has done in the last year. But I think that the most important, the most useful outcome for us, for the Commission, would be to get a feedback from you, the participants here. We are not so many, but from the ones who are here, about how you see the future of this Web Investors Forum. How you see the future of this group, this network of investors, venture capitalists, business angels, how they can continue being an interlocutor for the European Commission, where we make new regulations, new directives, which should be the focus of this Web Investors Forum from now on. The focus so far has been on creating the network and creating identifying the needs and giving some recommendations. Now, which should be the focus? How we should strengthen this network, this forum? Should it be enlarged? Should we have more focal dedicated workshops like this afternoon? We should be the short and mid-term objectives of the forum. How to get adequate secretarial support for that, and of course, very important, to provide a good communication to ensure that all the relevant people in Europe who considers themselves a web investor, considers that they are investing in the web economy, they are part of this, or they are aware of the work they are doing, and we know that we are able to listen to their voice. We understand this forum, like the other networks we have been presenting before, as a means to be able for us, for the Commission, to listen to the voice of these people, the accelerators, the startups, the investors, etc. So how can we, between all of us, design the future of the Web Investors Forum in a way that is useful for the Commission and is useful for the investors?